Janine, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming in this morning.
Thanks for having me on, Jeff. It's nice to sit down and chat. It's been a while.
It has been a little while. I was thinking back to our last chat, and hopefully I've upgraded everything a little bit since
This is a very cool
then.
setup. Feels very
thank
professional.
you. And last time we talked, it was part of NZ Tech Week,
That's right.
which is, I guess, overall been a good success. It's still
Was that 2020?
It's still going.
2019?
It would have been 2020, and I think we just came out of lockdown number 1.
That's right.
And I just remember it being like an audio video cluster, and I was like so stressed for that session. And so now I just do it myself.
Looking good.
So I wanted to start with a picture that I pulled off of your LinkedIn. And so this was posted, I don't know, 5 months ago or something. Can you tell us about this?
Well, as you can see, we're having a lot of fun this night. This was the High Tech Awards. So this is sort of the preeminent tech celebration event in the New Zealand calendar. And this was me receiving the IBM Inspiring Individual of the Year award, which was really
great.
epic. And
Who's in the photo?
So in the photo from left, back left, I've got Louise McFarlane, who's our head of customer success. Many people who use Easy Crypto will know her and will have dealt with her. Mitchell Pham is just in front of her. He's one of our board members, and he just recently received New Zealand Order of Merit. So you see that little medal there is
that's right.
His knighthood, or whatever you call that. Angelique's behind him, who does a lot of our solutions. So if you're a customer and you mess up something, she'll be the one fixing it. My co-founder, Alan, behind me, and to his right, we've got Anna Walmsley, our Chief Operating Officer, and Caro Williams, the Chair of the Board. So a whole bunch of the team came down for the event. It was down in Christchurch, and it was such a fun night. And yeah, a real surprise, but really cool.
So I pulled this out. Seriously, scrolling through your LinkedIn, it's just like a hit list of accolades, one after another. But I noticed this one particularly because it looks like you guys are having fun.
Yeah, it was such a great night. And shout out to the organisers of the High Tech Awards. Like, it's a really fabulous event. If you haven't been before and you're in the tech industry, get amongst. I think it's in Auckland next year. And definitely nominate, yourself or companies that you work with that you love. Like, it's great to have the recognition for companies in the sector. So, yeah, encourage people to participate.
I thought it was a nice relief. Sometimes, especially maybe in crypto, it seems like we're carrying this storm cloud around. And sometimes you don't even want to, depending on the day, tell people what it is, what business that you're into.
I know. And there's so many things that I'm like, people like, we would, consider you for this except crypto. And and sometimes you just don't have the energy for the barbecue conversations about what do you do? And then people are like, isn't that all a scam? And you're like, this conversation again. So nice to have some highlights and light moments amongst that.
Absolutely. I just got back from an academic conference in Rotorua, and so it was just New Zealand academics, but it was like science-focused, science-based. And so everyone's very curious, and you tell people your little speech about your research or about crypto. And most people are very interested, but it goes one of two ways. And I'm bringing this up because it still kind of surprises me. The one way, the more positive way, is what should I buy? Mm-hmm. And then the other way is, I heard about this scam, XYZ, and so on and so forth. And I'm like, there must be more to it than that. But
yeah, and this is one of the things that's been challenging for me this year, right? Is, like many of us, I got into crypto for the use cases, the belief in the technology, this thing can really impact our world. And, I've been doing this for 6 years now. I've been in crypto for over a decade, but we've been doing Easy Crypto for 6 years. And it still feels like we're looking at that same future potential, but not seeing the real world impacts yet. And, the real world day-to-day of crypto kind of falls into two buckets, I think. One is speculation, like, can I buy a coin and will I make money? And the other one is scams. And, scams aren't unique to crypto. There's a whole lot of scams in everything from TradeMe to Facebook to banking. But, there is, dealing with that on a daily basis is really challenging. I'm like, I just can't wait for the industry to actually migrate into the use cases, the things we've been promised, the things that will actually help improve the world rather than just speculation and scams.
A tipping point would be very nice it's hard to see when you're in it, but once you pass it, you can sort of look back and be like, we did get past that, which maybe the recent TVNZ doco can help with. So you guys were profiled fairly strongly, in a positive way, strongly, that's the wrong word. There was a good emphasis on Easy Crypto and specifically your family. And how lovely is your mom, by the way?
I've had such great feedback on my mum. I think she needs to be our new brand ambassador or company mascot or something.
Yeah, absolutely. And she seems like such a cool cucumber as well. And Is she still involved?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say the one thing that, so just as context, this is the TVNZ docuseries, WTF is Crypto, which came out in October, and it's a really cool profile of firstly trying to demystify crypto and explain some of the concepts of crypto, blockchain, NFTs, metaverse, and it's also a really cool profile of the different actors in the New Zealand ecosystem. So yeah, Easy Crypto is in it. There's also the Futureverse guys. There's Jess and the team from Beyond VR. There's Tom and the guys who are doing mining off renewable energy. So there's a whole bunch of different players in it, and it's really cool to have that ecosystem. But yeah, my mum is in it because my mum is part of the Easy Crypto team. She does a lot of our sort of general company accounting. We've got a CFO, but she's doing our day-to-day accounts work. What the TV series didn't include is the fact that she's actually a company accountant. Like this is what she's done for decades of her professional life. But it sort of made it sound out like I was just like one day, hey mum, can you manage the books? Which like sounds a bit scarily
It did
FTX
make it sound like that, yeah.
I was like, I wish they had maybe given a little bit more of the credentials for her for that job. But as it is, she does a fantastic job, and she works really hard behind the scenes. And like you say, it's very cool and calm, and just there's a lot of money moving through Easy Crypto on a daily basis. We're non-custodial. We don't hold people's funds, so there's never that risk of a hack or us running away with the money. But there is a lot of throughput, and she manages all of that and all of our foreign exchange and all of that with just total aplomb.
Oh, that's brilliant, and like good family story as well, right? You tend to take more of the limelight, the spotlight. Is that right, compared to your brother?
Yeah, so Alan and I founded the business, he was in a week before me, but we call it founded together, even though he kicked it off. But yeah, he's not a big publicity and the limelight person. He just wants to get on and get shit done. Can I say that?
You just did.
All right. He just likes making things happen, solving problems, whereas I'm, more happy to take on the public face and sit down and do things like this. So yeah, you get me.
Great. No worries. I'm happy with that as well. In that photo, yeah, great to see that Alan was able to be there as well. In WTF is Crypto, you mentioned you had a 5-year plan to hit $1 billion. Yeah. Did you make it?
Yeah, so this was when we started the business, and this is something I talk on actually a bit in terms of like talking to other startups and people running businesses. Like I'm such a big believer in the importance of setting goals, focusing on what you need to do to make those happen, and then measuring against that to sort of ensure you're doing the right things. And I think that's really the secret to, if there is a secret to success, and it also has a lot of luck and, other things that come into it, but having that discipline on setting a goal, focusing and measuring. And so when we started Easy Crypto, my background was in strategy. So, we sat down in our first month of operation and set our 5-year strategic plan, set our big, hairy, audacious goal, or BHAG, which is a term I love to use. And we set this BHAG of $1 billion in sales, which this was just Alan and I, just the two of us starting this thing, no experience, didn't know what we're doing. And it seemed like a completely, audacious was the right word for it. But we broke it down into what we needed to achieve yearly, quarterly, set, targets, and we smashed it out of the park. Like I think we got closer to 2 billion in our first 5 years, which were just completely unexpected. Yeah. But I think definitely a testament to that goals, focus and measurement, but also, a lot of hard work going into that and a lot of good luck in terms of market timing and being able to, get the right people and the right services we needed to make it happen.
Yeah, well, I mean, congratulations. I think most people, well, maybe I don't know what most people think. It's a impossible sum of money, even as a revenue figure or as a volume type of figure in crypto to try to imagine.
Yeah, and it really surprises people as well when they hear how much volume we've done. Because, we're just one player in the New Zealand crypto scene. So it's like New Zealand actually buys and sells, and there's a lot of people dealing with crypto in New Zealand, and a lot of out of the 5-6 million people that we've got here, there's actually a reasonable number getting involved, and it's not insignificant in the New Zealand scene. Yeah.
And so just on that, what would you say, in terms of working adults over 10%, under 20, or in terms of people that have?
I'd say around 10% probably. We're still behind a lot of other countries. I think, part of that is we've got stable government and, relatively usable payment systems and things like that crypto is not used necessarily as a tool for people everyday financial life. It's more still that speculation side of things. But it's, and I have a lot of great stories from customers. I was talking to a 79-year-old woman actually the other day who's getting started in crypto and, is just, diversifying, her overall portfolio, putting a, 5% into crypto, which is, that's great. You don't want to bet the whole house or put your life savings in. But, just really excited about having that diversity in her portfolio. And, it's been good timing for her to get in. Crypto's been up sort of, most things around 30% in the last month. So she's particularly excited about that. But it is nice to have, give people that opportunity to have a different asset class, a diversification of risk and reward, and just, diversify the portfolio a bit.
And great to know you can be excited when you're 79 watching the prices on TradingView or whatever.
Yep.
As you're like, well, that moved faster than my Kiwi saver.
Exactly.
So you mentioned, about there's like this mix of hard work and luck, which a lot of people, talk about. And I don't necessarily want to talk about just that, but in terms of maybe some of where you got to today, if we look back about 18 months ago, we had about 3 players where you could New Zealand bank account, New Zealand dollars, on-ramp and off-ramp. And now, to my knowledge, it's just Easy Crypto. We also had Binance come in, but also Binance also doesn't have the on-ramp and off-ramp here in New Zealand. So I guess the question is, like, how have you managed to keep that relationship and do what it is that you've done when it seems like we don't have a lot of option here?
Yeah, and I have to say it's really sad. Like, I mean, I don't relish the fact that we're the only player left in the New Zealand market. Like, it's not an ideal situation. There should be more players. There should be a more of a scene, more vibrancy, more options. And it's really sad what's happened sort of with some of the recent failures of crypto players and the impact that's had on people. It's devastating for the industry and for the people involved. For us, like, I think there's 2 things that have helped us. One is that we are non-custodial. So like I mentioned earlier, we don't hold customer funds. That was a really intentional decision from the outset. We didn't want to be a potential honeypot for hacks or have, we're quite aligned with the principles of crypto, which is, you can be your own bank, you can hold your own assets, no one else has control of them. Whereas when you use exchanges for trading, you have to entrust your funds with the exchange to be able to use their services. Which kind of, it does break that crypto kind of mantra and ethos a bit. With us, we sort of built something that's more like an online shop, right? You go to an online shop, you want to buy something, you select what you want to buy, you say where you want it delivered to, you pay for it, you check out, that's the whole experience done. And we wanted that really easy, seamless, what people are used to with online shopping. And so with our service, when you buy crypto or sell it, that order is processed within a matter of minutes, and we don't, we're not holding your funds or sort of putting you at risk on that. The other thing that I think has helped us firstly obtain and secondly keep banking is a really, really strong compliance focus. I know this is something that people, particularly going back to the ethoses of crypto, can struggle with a bit around having to do KYC or, when companies ask your identity, your verification details, they want to know, where your money came from, things like this. And a lot of that is driven by anti-money laundering controls, which is something that we have to take really seriously. I mean, there's a misnomer out there that crypto is good for crime. I very strongly don't believe it, because every transaction is traceable, and it's traceable, for infinity, right? So it's this very public, open, traceable, transparent record of payments, which is not ideal if you want to do criminal activity. However, there's reality and then there's perception. And the perception is that crypto is a haven for crime. And so that's why we have to sort of go above and beyond and work really hard to ensure that we are, not just seen as, but also, genuinely are really strong on compliance. And it's an absolute requirement to be able to have and maintain banking access.
And so from a business point of view, would it be difficult to switch to being an exchange from your setup now? And is the compliance different?
The compliance is a little bit different. In New Zealand, there's not a huge amount of extra requirements. We don't have sort of really strict what do they call it? Like capital requirements for custodial services, that sort of thing. But for us, I think, never say never, but I think we're unlikely to be an exchange just because it doesn't fit the tech stack we've built, the kind of like belief system and kind of business model that we have. We have just launched swaps though, which is our sort of, I guess, way to kind of perhaps help bridge that gap that, you've got crypto A, you want crypto B. Previously, you had to sell crypto A to New Zealand dollars and then buy back into crypto B. Now you can just swap between them, and that's much more similar to the exchange model. We don't have all of the, the fully fledged options like limit orders, fill or kill, those kind of more advanced trading things.
Yep.
But that said, there are so many exchanges out there. And once you're in crypto, you're globally in the crypto ecosystem, and you can move your crypto and start doing that kind of more advanced trading on any of the dozens of good exchanges out there.
So I've noticed the swaps notice in my inbox. And so like considering the non-custodial factor, how's that working in the back end when I want to like sell my Dogecoin into Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Like those are two incompatible cryptocurrencies. So what do you have to do, and like how do you handle things like slippage between quote time and delivery time?
Yeah, so with this one, we'll give you a quote, but and it does say this on the website that, we can't guarantee it because it depends, how long it takes for, say you're sending Doge in that example, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you say you want to sell us 100 Doge and you want to get some Bitcoin in return. We're like, great, at the moment you'll get this amount of Bitcoin. Here's an address to send your Doge to. So you flick us your Doge. The quicker you get it to us, the closer it's going to be to that quote, right? And then as soon as we receive the Doge, and this is all automated in our system, like, we process within seconds, right? So as soon as the Doge hits our wallet, we're monitoring our wallet addresses, seeing what's coming in. As soon as it hits it, we're automatically flicking it on, selling it off, and then buying the Bitcoin to deliver to you. So it usually, I've been monitoring this, and the majority of swaps that are coming through, we've been running for about a week now, very exciting. They're mostly delivering at quote, which is cool because we're obviously, customers are getting those processed fast. We're getting our quoting right. The ones that aren't are where it might take 10, 20, half an hour for people to get the crypto to us. And that's just, it's just the nature of the markets. They move quite fast.
Right. Between when I think it's a good idea to do the swap, and then I'm like, oh, what was that password? Where was that wallet that I have to?
Exactly.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I think that's a pretty good feature. How long has this one been in the works for?
Well, we actually used to have swaps a couple of years ago, but we used a third-party provider for it, and we ended up taking it down just because we weren't happy enough with their service. Like, it wasn't a good enough experience for our customers to be going through this other provider's swap service. So we took that offline, and it's been on the to-do list for, since then. So probably about 3 years. But yeah, I'm so proud of what my team have been working on at the moment. Like, we've got 2 really big new products just coming out on market. And while they've been building those, they also managed to, smash out this new feature, which is great for customers. Like, I mean, I love it. I've been flicking off a lot of my shit coins to get into some of the more, bigger things or things that I think have good impact.
Sure, now's the season to clean out the closet.
Exactly, spring cleaning time, right? It's clean out the wallets, and hope to get in on the next bull run.
So about that, this morning there was another announcement in my inbox from Easy Crypto. When this comes out, it will already be live. So you're mentioning that you have a wallet product coming, and there's going to be a demo, which also, depending on when you listen to this, will either be recorded or will be the same or the next day. So like, is this related to swaps? You've got a wallet product, and like, is this a whole separate vertical for Easy Crypto?
Yeah, so the wallet is completely separate in that, anyone can use the wallet, like anyone anywhere in the world even. You don't need to be an Easy Crypto customer. It is, and it's fully self-custodial. So this was a really important thing. We've talked about it quite a bit, but we really believe in people holding their own assets. And so the wallet, you don't need to do KYC to use the wallet. Anyone anywhere can use it, and we're going to keep sort of building and adding new features in. But the main things that I wanted to solve for, because wallets, you're a crypto user, right? Like, how many wallets do you have?
More than 10.
This is the problem, right? And when I did a survey on our community, earlier this year, and the average person has 4 crypto wallets. When I'm in audiences that are more crypto savvy, like I was talking to a group the other day and sort of asked people to raise their hands on how many wallets they had, and I got up to 4, 5, 6, 7. I was at 7, and most hands in the room were still up. So there's something like, as an industry, we haven't solved for the user experience around wallets. Wallets are way too complicated. And the problems fit into a couple of buckets. There's one around coin support. So, if you've been in crypto a while, or if you're buying anything other than the most typical cryptos, you'll run into this issue where you go to buy a cryptocurrency and then you realize your existing wallet or suite of wallets do not support it, and you have to download a whole new wallet just for that new crypto. So our wallet, at launch, we have around 50 currencies in it, and we'll be working hard to get it to parity with Easy Crypto.
50.
Yeah. And so our idea is that everything you can buy on Easy Crypto, you'll be able to store in the Easy Crypto wallet. So multiple coin support is one really big thing. having good security, and that trade-off between security and simplicity is another main issue with wallets. So a lot of people, you'll have a hardware wallet for, longer term, more secure storage, and then you've got like hot wallets apps on your phone that you don't want to keep too much in. But we're like, hardware wallets, like, they're great and I love them, but they're not an easy user experience. Like, to your example of sending the Doge, like if you're doing that from a hardware wallet, you've got to pull that thing out, connect it, go through multiple layers of things. It's quite a faff. It's not a user-friendly everyday thing. Whereas we can build in great security into apps using things like, multiple factors of authentication, using biometrics, PINs, email confirmation. You can layer on your authentications to make it more secure. You can also do things like, and we haven't built this in yet, but it's on the roadmap of, say, having a timeout on your wallet. Like, say, this wallet, I want any withdrawal to be delayed for 24 hours. It's like if I've got a really long-term secure savings that I don't want to easily get funds out of, make sure that, no one can compromise it. And so, that trade-off between security and simplicity. And so, I wanted to build an app that was really nice and simple to use, but didn't compromise at all on security and still gave people that real confidence that my funds are going to be safe. And the last sort of key point, well, there's probably a couple more, but one of the other big ones is around privacy, right? So you have, whenever I do anything with crypto, like I went to pay a mate back for we were in Hong Kong and he shouted dinner and I was like, I'll hit you back with some crypto. And then I was like, oh, if I send it from this wallet, he can see all my transaction history. So I need to let you know. So, having different wallets that you can use for different purposes, wallets that perhaps, this one is for, my everyday trading activity. This one's for DeFi. This one is the wallet I'm going to use for interacting with dodgy smart contracts. But, it's completely separated from all of my other wallets. So being able to spin up new wallets or new accounts just as easily as you could say set up a new suffix in your bank account. And the last thing, and for me possibly one of the most important, is seed phrases. So anyone who has used crypto and knows about seed phrases knows that this is not a user-friendly, it's not scalable, it's not a fit-for-purpose long-term solution for crypto. I had a friend who watched the WTF is crypto thing, and she messaged me afterwards and she's like, so this is all digital and amazing, and you're talking about how this is the great new advancement in technology, but then we have to write things down on a piece of paper and not lose it?
Yes, that
how
was
is
one
that?
of my first points when watching it as well. I was like, give us a bit more, just a bit more.
Yeah, and unfortunately that was filmed a year ago before I was able to, before we had this product and I could have talked about it. But so with our wallet, we've moved to post, I believe that as crypto, we're moving to a post-seed phrase world. Like there are better or more, there are methods of recovery that better solve for that trade-off between simplicity and security and kind of meeting those together. So there's technology called MPC or multi-party computation, which it's not new. It's been around since the 60s, but it's only more recently started to be integrated into cryptocurrency. There's some really big, unicorn companies that have been using it very successfully for years, mostly on a B2B, business to business side. But so we think it's time for that kind of technology to come to the consumer wallets, and also to, there's a whole lot of other advancements and cool things that's happening in crypto. Account abstraction is another one that, seed phrases I think will be a thing of the past. We're going to move to a way that is a better, more human-friendly way to secure your crypto assets, and it won't be writing 12 words on a piece of paper and hoping you don't lose them.
And hoping you don't lose them. And so will we see MPC features or account abstraction or are you just spitballing here?
No. So our wallet is fully MPC. So, and what that means in a practical sense, you do not have a seed phrase. So, and this is one of the things that I really wanted us not to have in the wallet, because seed phrases there's a lot of risk from people stealing them. And if you have, a lot of, we don't want our customers, say, engaging with scammers and giving over the seed phrase, that kind of thing. So it's like there isn't that seed phrase, there isn't that vulnerability, there isn't that area for exploit. Instead, what happens is we've got a range of different backup methods and you can use all of them. So again, lots of options and making it really user-friendly. One of the backup methods is social recovery, which I was interested to see Apple just rolled out last month or the month before. I was like, well, that's validating for what I'm building. But social recovery is, if you lose your phone or say you uninstall the app by mistake, you haven't lost your crypto. When you reinstall the app, you've got guardians, friends, family, trusted people that you've asked to help secure your wallet. And so when you reinstall the app, and I actually did this in our wallet testing the other week, completely by mistake, I uninstalled without realizing that I, was going to have this impact. And I was very grateful that my recovery people
Right.
from around Easy Crypto, you know, they just click a button in their app and my wallet gets fully reinstated, all of my balances, all of my cryptocurrency, everything is there. So that's one of the options, is sort of, you know, using friends and family. And you can also do cloud recoveries. So you have an encrypted copy of your wallet that's backed up to the cloud, password encrypted. So, you know, there is an onus there on you to have a strong, secure password that you keep safe. But that is something that most of us, I think, are quite familiar with now around good password management. And when you install these wallets back, you know, no one can be installing a copy of your wallet on another phone when you're using it already. Like, you know, we'll be making sure that we check in and be like, hey, Jeff, someone's wanting to recover your wallet. Is that you? You know, there's a lot of layers of confidence and security and checks that we can put in place, you know, using MPC technology to ensure that your wallet's as safe as it possibly can be.
Is it app only?
Yes.
So no web interface?
So we will be building web interface, but everything will get authorized on the app. And for me, this is another really important security point, right? Because if someone, you know, someone could, you know, try to trick or social engineer you to giving away your username and password to the site, but you know, unless they actually physically have your phone, they can't authorize those transactions. And so it's a really, you know, it's just another layer in that multi-factor authentication.
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea of self-custody also then sort of leads to all of these horror scenarios where you can be coerced and manipulated. And, you know, like there's this AI scam where like your sister calls you up and it's just her voice, right? And it's not actually her, and like crazy.
Yeah, and this is one of the things that I think, you know, I think we're going to need to have that human level of trust and authentication because, you know, stronger in the future. So the social recovery stuff, right? Like, you know, if your sister calls you, it's like, okay, call her back. You know, if you're in the same city, go around and see her. If not, call her back on another number. Check that it's genuinely her. Like, we're going to need to get better at, you know, helping coach people through, you know, your initial reaction when something like that happens is panic, right? You're like, oh no, she's in trouble. But helping, and this is what we can do through the user interface in our app, is help people take a step back and go, okay, have you checked, you know, through this method? Have you done this? Like, you know, my brother and I have, you know, secret like phrases or words or things that we would know when talking to each other. And so if he called me saying he's been held for ransom and he didn't say the right words, I'd be like, bye, scammer. Like, yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vitalik, he's really keen on these two things. He's really keen on social recovery as sort of the ultimate last say in all of our authentication, and also account abstraction. And sort of the way that Ethereum was set up originally was just sort of to bootstrap it and get it off the ground and running. And for a long time now, he's been writing about these things and saying like, well, we have a huge problem here. And, you know, the problem ends up with multiple wallet apps, and then you lose your phone and you're like, oh, what was where, and how do I get any of this stuff back?
God, my crypto is spread over so many different places. I'm just like.
Can you integrate your buy-sell service with your wallet app?
Yeah, so it's in there. It'll be in there from day one. Like we'll be working on making it more streamlined and more natively integrated over time. But from launch day, which should be after this comes out, should be before this comes out. When this comes out, the wallet will be live and you'll be able to buy and sell within it. Yep. So as I said before, like anyone can download and use the wallet. But if you want to buy and sell within it, you'll need to be an Easy Crypto customer. So, you know, if you're not already a customer, that flow will just take you through and help you get set up with onboarding. But over time, we'll hope to integrate other services for buying and selling as well. So people in other countries, you know, outside of New Zealand will be able to buy, sell, swap, etc. within the wallet. All
right. You guys wrote the wallet yourself?
Yeah.
Yep. Very nice.
And we've had it audited by, you know, good, highly reputable crypto audit firms. So yeah.
This is when like you knock on the basement door and your dad comes in. He's like, "Sure, I'll audit your wallet, no problem." But like, actually, he's a really talented auditor. You just don't know it. And what else can I do with your wallet? Can I buy some New Zealand dollars?
So we don't store New Zealand dollars in the wallet, but you can buy and store NZDD, which is our brand new, just released New Zealand dollar stablecoin.
Okay, NZDD.
Yeah. New
Zealand dollar digital?
Yeah, something along those lines.
Something like that.
You get to name it what you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, you have to give it some ticker name, right? So that it's obvious. So is this coming out at the same time?
Yeah, so they're both getting released at the same time because we needed the wallet to support NZDD, and NZDD is a nice it's a nice pairing for the wallet as well, particularly for people who trade crypto. Previously, if you wanted to say take profit on a position, you're having to trade out either to New Zealand dollars in your bank account, which there's a bit of a delay on that. There's a bit of a lag getting in and out of the banking system. Or you're moving into USDC, USDT, which means you're exposed to the exchange rate fluctuations. So this is a way, there's so many things we could do with NZDD, but one of the, very first use cases will be enabling people to swap in and out of different crypto assets, which you can do in the wallet and you can do with us, into a stable coin that will be, stable with your native currency, New Zealand dollar.
Yep. You want to trap everybody in the crypto system, right? Once we get out of the dollar, the fiat system, we don't want to go back.
Yeah, where we're going, we don't need banks.
Or at least it's a pain point, right? Going back and forth for everything, for fees, for time lag, for convenience, for taxes, depending on what you're doing. You just did the stablecoin because you wanted this option to do in the wallet, like these two pair together.
Yeah, I'm a really big believer in stablecoins as part of the future finance infrastructure. So if you sort of step it back, big picture assets are digitizing. So at the moment we've got cryptocurrencies, are digital assets, but over time we'll have fiat currencies, with central bank digital currencies. I was over in Hong Kong last week and they've just launched their e-Hong Kong dollar. Australia's been doing trials with an e-Australian dollar. So, governments are issuing their currencies digitally. You'll also be seeing things like stocks and shares go digital. Identity is an asset that will be going digital over time, next 10, 20 years. I think that the majority of assets will be either natively digitized or tokenized and represented digitally. And that's going to enable us to do super cool things. If you think about what digitizing of information, via the internet did for how we work, how we interact, all of the cool services, most of the apps you use today, that product could not exist before digitization of information. And so if you think of the same corollary of when we digitize assets, what we'll be able to do with that, I don't even know, our minds are going to be blown in 20 years looking back and be this is the cool stuff that we can do when we digitize assets. And so stablecoins are a really important part of that infrastructure of a digitizing financial system. And, New Zealand, we have great innovation and there's so many cool people doing things in fintech and Web3 space. And so we wanted to build a piece of, an infrastructure, a platform that people can build on. So NZDD is available, anyone can use it. It's completely, get amongst, there's no barriers to entry.
Yep.
And it's programmable, right? So when you think about what will programmable money enable us to do, it's, you can move it to anyone anywhere in the world, near instantly, very low cost. It's not sort of constrained by banking hours like regular money, and that instantaneousness, right? That's a really powerful thing. Also add on micro payments, it goes, NZDD goes down to 6 decimal places, so you can split into very, 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 very tiny payments and do things that would never have been economical when you can only go down to 1 cent. But if you can go down to another 4 decimal places,
and I've been waiting for it, and I will keep waiting for it. Streaming money. This idea of streaming for content, by whatever metric, by the use case. And of course you can't do that with divisibility to 100th.
No, absolutely. And even just wealth generation, I love the, and, hopefully in the future we can add sort of staking income or, sort of passive income on NZDD as well. But that idea of being able to see your account balance tick up in real time, every second you're getting that account balance increasing. And again, it's only small amounts, but it's really powerful. And I think it's a great thing for helping us build good financial habits to actually see that, when I'm saving money and I'm investing it and I'm, not spending it, I'm keeping it here, I'm actually getting the benefit. And it's a really good psychological, reward, I think.
Is it on Ethereum?
Yeah, so we're minting on Ethereum, Polygon, BSC, Optimism, Arbitrum, probably Ripple and Stellar down the line, and likely Solana as well. Where one of the things that, anyone who's familiar with DeFi, a lot of the DeFi core is really solid, but it's when it comes to bridges that things can go wrong. So we really wanted to mint natively on as many chains as possible to minimize the risk of people having to build bridges and then bridges being problematic. And it also gives, we don't know what the next big, what platform's going to be the winner in the future. We just want the coin to be available for people to use wherever they are building and in whatever ecosystem they like to use. So, it's out there. It's on most of the layer 1s, layer 2s. It's open access.
You're optimistic about layer 2s, putting it on all the Ethereum layer 2s.
Well, it doesn't take any extra effort, really.
So
we've had our smart contract code audited by Trail of Bits, who are the top tier audit firm, and you do it on one chain, and it's actually pretty much the same smart contract across, because those are all EVM chains. And sorry if we're getting a bit technical for people, but it's not a lot of effort to go to other EVM compatible chains. For the ones that are a bit different, like your Stellars, Ripples, that kind of thing, that's a bit of an extra shift.
Yeah,
we'll have all
work.
of those independently audited. But I'm a big believer in with Easy Crypto, we sell 160 coins. We've always been crypto agnostic. It's we're not going to tell you which crypto will be the winner in the future. We're not going to tell you which chain's going to be, the one to win it all. And personally, I think that
would be a bad business strategy, right?
But, I'm you do you, whatever you guys want to work on. But also I think long term, the world should be moving to a place where interoperability is just baked into everything. And as an everyday user, when we're engaging with a financial service and product, we shouldn't need to know what layer 1 or layer 2 it's on, what scalability solution. It just should work. And what's under the hood, like with the internet, we don't really see what, TCP/IP, went out and it brought in a lot of interoperability, and that's great. But it's people don't see that. They don't need to look below that layer of, this is the interface and this is the product that's helping me do whatever XYZ thing I need to do.
And so we do have another stablecoin. Did you learn from its experience, the NZDS?
Yeah, so we're trying to, I guess, fill a bit of a different need. So NZDS has a very strong wholesale focus. We really wanted to make sure NZDD was available at a retail level. And we're also wanting it to be available, like I've been talking, I'm super excited about what we can build in the future with this stuff. Yep. So we really want it to be available for builders. So we've actually got a grants program supported by Callahan as well around people who are fintechs, companies that are wanting to build on top of this. Come and talk to us, let us know, and we can hopefully help with some funding to help you deliver, whatever product or use case you're working on. So wholesale is great for, sort of high net worth individuals who are doing large sort of individual trades, but we want it to be everyday people, which is retail customers and people who are building services for retail customers. So that's what we focused on.
I noticed that as well. I mean, it's advertised, it's like $50,000 or something is the minimum requirement to mint the NZDS. But you mentioned bridging, and I should mention this as well, that the NZDS is kind of stagnated since there was a bridge hack a year ago. So for anyone out there, make sure if you're thinking about using that, make sure you have the full story. And your thinking is that if you can mint natively on all these different chains, then that's going to remove one pain point.
Yeah, hopefully. And that's why it's important for us is to try to remove the need for bridges. I mean, people might still build bridges. They might have, particular reasons why they want to do that. But if we're natively across everything, or as many as possible, we're not forcing people to use bridges.
All right. Well, I'm in favor of, more competition. Yeah. And Australia has heaps of stablecoins, right? How many do you think they have?
Yeah, it's interesting. They've got at least 6, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the things that we know the team behind AUDD. It's issued by Novati, who are a listed company in Australia, and we've been working with them a bit. And there's some interesting potential use cases on remittances between Australia and New Zealand and how we can help people. A lot of there's a lot of flows between the two countries, and people have moved from one to the other or a family, and so making it cheaper and easier for people to send money between Australia and New Zealand and also up into the Pacific Islands. That's been a problem for a long time, how people, working in New Zealand can send money back home to the Pacific without it having huge amounts taken up in money transfer fees.
Yeah, I'm amazed the need for remittances hasn't changed, yet the attention that remittances gets in the crypto community and the media and stuff, it seems to ebb and flow, and we haven't seen a sort of large positive story about it in a while, but it doesn't change. There's so many people outside of New Zealand in different countries, right, that use, whether it's stable coins or some cryptocurrency, that use it for that purpose.
Yeah, and I know Stella's doing a lot of work on this in, I think, around Africa, and Reserve is doing a lot in Latin America. So there's definitely crypto companies trying to solve for this. But yeah, I don't know how widespread that's going, because you've got this network effect challenge, right? Like it's like, unless, the sender and receiver both need to be using or happy to use this, unless you can somehow, just have an interoperable layer under the hood that they don't need to know what they're using, which I think is what the model that Ripple are going for. So yeah, there's kind of some, stablecoin wars going on, lots of different models of how to do this. And I think in another couple of years, hopefully we can look back and see that we've had actual, impact and shift and helped improve and solve those problems for people.
All right, so very big week for Easy
huge.
Crypto. Hopefully you can get some sleep. Is there anything you want to mention before I ask you some rapid fire questions?
I'll just give a massive shout out to my team, because this is huge, right? We're launching 2 really big new products and swaps on the way. And it's just the team have been working so hard this year. I'm so stoked to have it out, November, so people can go into Christmas and take a really well-deserved break. Yep. But yeah, the team are epic, and I'm so proud of the work that they've done.
And we're up 100% on the year. So
yeah, that's good as well.
That helps as well.
It's actually, I was saying to my team yesterday, I was like, it's actually really nice launching new products into a rising market, because, you build over the depths of winter. And if you launch in winter, no one really cares. Whereas, I mean, the true loyalists will care, but to launch into a market where there's a bit of excitement and interest and people are actually crypto again, as opposed to crypto, it's nice timing for us. So thanks, market gods.
And I mean, congrats on just staying around and continuing to build, to grow, all of that. Okay, some rapid fire questions. Your mom called you a philosopher. Is that accurate?
I love that bit in the show. She's like, the quote is, Alan was the life and soul of the party, and Janine was always asking why. And I'm like, I sound like the most annoying kid. But no, I think I do have that innate curiosity. And, and Alan and I both have the sort of the questioning of the status quo. Like, why are we doing it this way? Can we do it a better way? And so, yeah, I think that's where mum's coming from. I did do a few philosophy courses at university, but a lot of logic, which I really enjoyed. But yeah, I like to question the world and sort of understand how it works.
Nothing wrong with that. Where's your favorite place in New Zealand?
I love the Coromandel, and probably particularly around Hahei. I just think the views, out with those rocks out in the water are beautiful. But New Zealand, we're so spoilt for choice. Everywhere is amazing.
Absolutely. And actually, Coromandel's, I was thinking about this morning, and that's one of the top of my list as well. There's this drive up the west coast of Coromandel Peninsula. Yes. Catch it at sunset. It's one of the best. And I've been on some of the best roads in Europe as well. And it's just shout out to Coromandel. Where is Easy Crypto's next expansion country?
I don't know. I think actually, instead of going, we learn a lot from expanding into new countries, and it's actually really challenging, particularly with the regulatory environment, how that all changes. I actually want us to grow internationally with the wallet and the stablecoin. Those are products that anyone anywhere in the world can use, so we're not sort of restricted to just launching one geography at a time.
One at a time, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's the more, we're moving past geographic expansion and into just let's help the world crypto. In
a sidebar here, in America, right, they have like different laws in every state.
I know.
And so you end up with
so challenging
mountains of paperwork.
Yeah.
Every single, you have to register and every, that would be quite a headache. Last question, who is Satoshi?
Definitely not Craig Wright. Sorry to the BSV people out there.
Well, I think that this has almost been proven in court now. Not those words, but I think he's had like 2 denials and 1 case thrown out or something. And so how much longer can this guy last?
I saw this great tweet the other day from someone who was kind of dissecting all of this thing, and at the end just finished with, if only we had a, fully independent, tamper-proof chain of evidence record that we could use, and it would have had to be invented, by 2008. And they're like, oh, wait. It astounds me that this is still going on, but yeah, it's fun. This is the fun thing about crypto, and we're starting to, it feels like we're getting a bit more mainstream now and a bit more sensible. But in the early days, back when we started Easy Crypto and before, it's just the personalities and the types of people you have in the crypto ecosystem are just fascinating.
There are some good ones. Yeah, lots of opportunity for filmmakers and storytellers there. Janine, thank you very much for coming in today. Best of luck with the launch. Holiday season next year.
Thanks so much, Jeff. Lovely to chat as always, and we'll catch you next year.
Thanks for joining us, folks. Look out for the next episode of the Blockchain New Zealand podcast, probably in the same spot you found this one. Cheers.